It's the end of the day with Ray. Hello, my friends. Well, folks, today we're going to jump on that gigantic, sharp, interactive board. I want to share my thoughts on Oki's FY2024. I'm going through their presentation, and immediately I thought of a big dump truck dumping off all the print equipment at Oki. Getting rid of it. Let's get out of the print business. You know, ladies and gentlemen, my friends there at Oki, there's a way that you could make money off of print equipment without ever touching a printer, without ever touching any kind of toner or inkjet, or without ever having a conversation with a customer that has a printer. You can still make money off the print business. So stick around for today's episode. I'm going to share my thoughts on that. Let's just jump right in here, ladies and gentlemen. Oki's top line revenue is $3.2 billion for FY 2024. Had an operating profit of 4.1% or $130.4 million. I'm thinking that Oki is in their boardroom and somebody says, hey, do you realize that, Konica Minolta did twice the revenue of us, but we spanked the crap out of them in operating profit. Now, and they should be proud of that, right? I mean, they beat the crap out of Konica Minolta in operating profit. But I will tell you this, that's nothing to get really excited about, okay? I mean, beating up the weakest kid on the playground is not anything you should be getting excited about. You should almost be ashamed of it. But I will say this, congratulations for beating the crap out of Konica Minolta, Oki. Ladies and gentlemen, if you look at their different business units over there at Oki, they have 4 business units. They have Public Solutions, Enterprise Solutions, Component Products, and EMS. Component Products is where that print business lives. But let's look at some of these business units. Public Solutions represents 28.6% of Oki's total revenue. It was $914.9 million, and their operating profit was 10.8%, $98.9 million. That's a good business unit for Oki. Let's look at their Enterprise Solutions business. $1.3 billion in top-line revenue for the year, representing 41% of Oki's total revenue, with an operating profit of $91.8 million or 7.3%. That's an important business unit for Oki. Let's look at the Component Products. It represents 16% of Oki's total revenue. The total revenue for Component Products was $531.4 million, had an operating profit of $20.3 million or 3.8%. But folks, here's the deal. It's inside this Component Products business unit is where the LED printers are. Let me circle that. And so you have to ask yourself, how much of the printers, how much money of that $531.4 million is the printer money? I mean, they got AI, edge computers, sensors, IoT networks in this group. They got PBX business phones and contact centers in that group, cloud services in that group. So what is this LED printer business in revenue to Oki? Do they really need it? I'm going to argue they don't need it. I really am. I don't think they need it. I mean, even if it's 80% of the $531.4 million, that's an irrelevant number in the industry as a whole, right? They also have this EMS group. That group did $462 million in top-line revenue, had a $5.6 million operating profit of 1.2%. When you look at the EMS business group, it's consigned designing and manufacturing services, printed circuit boards. Would Oki be better off to get out of the LED printers and then focus on growing parts of their business that make more sense for the future? I mean, that's what I'm thinking. I would have to assume that Oki's thinking the same thing, right? I saw this in their financial presentation, and I just want to say this to all my OEM friends. Knock this crap off. I'm so sick of, you share your operating profit, then you have these slides that'll say, if this didn't happen, it'd be this. If it wasn't for this, it would be this. If it wasn't for this or that, who gives a crap about this or that? You know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of this guy saying, I would have won the race if I didn't break my legs. But he broke his legs. He can't win the damn race. I mean, come on. I don't know why these OEMs do this crap. It's irrelevant. Nobody cares about if it was this, it wouldn't be that. It is what it is. It is the real number. Right? Jeez. I wanted to look at their asset to equity ratio. 34.48%, 65% of Oki's assets are encumbered someday. We've seen people worse than that. They have a $1 billion shareholder equity. Total liabilities are $1.9 billion and total assets are $2.9 billion. Inside their assets, their intangible assets only represent 4.5%, which is good. I mean, there's a lot of things that Oki's doing okay. And I think that they have to be one of those organizations that's thinking, how do we prepare this company better for the future, right? They're talking about the components products business where the printers live. And let me just read this. Efficiently strengthening the product lineup, relaunching MFP lineup. And I got to ask why. What the hell for? Okay. Well, how many more MFPs are you going to sell if you came out with the best one in the whole world? I mean, come on. Okay, we got the new Oki, MFP. And we're going to go out in the marketplace. How many more can you sell through this? Is this really what you want to do? I believe what you want to do is make money off print equipment, not have to touch it, not have to call a customer that has one, and never deliver a bottle of toner ink, right? That would be great, right? Let me read this part to you. With participation in Etria, a clear path has been set for structural reforms. I have to ask Oki the question, is the reform selling off the print business? Because it really does make sense. It wasn't that long ago. Actually, it was 9 of 2020 when Oki Data put out a press release that said in March of 2021, we are going to be out of the Americas. So are they going to come back to the Americas? We know the Americas is a pretty big printer market, right? I mean, what? So they left, they're going to come back? They don't need to come back. They need to get out of it altogether all around the world. They talked about Etria, and folks, at the end of the day, I got my doubts even with Rico, who has a majority equity in Etria, okay? Rico. And so I'm thinking that maybe Oki Data should meet with Toshiba Tech, who's also part of Etria, and say, look, we want to sell you all of our end users. We want to give you our entire MIF. And then we want to keep that equity position in Etria. And every time there's a printer made, we want to make money because we'll be part owner of Etria. And we don't care where that printer goes. It could be a Rico printer, it could be a Toshiba Tech printer. But we want you to take over all the Oki printers, get rid of that printer. You see, Oki, you can make money off the print business and do absolutely nothing. Show up at some board meetings, make sure that Rico, the majority owner, is doing things right so your investment's protected. But wouldn't it make more sense for you just to have an equity play in Etria and get rid of that print business altogether? I sure think it would. Because when you think about what you're thinking about regarding this integration into Etria, it's a lot of work. I mean, seriously, Oki. And again, how many printers are you actually going to sell? Ladies and gentlemen, if you look on the board, you're going to see a whole lot of logos. There has to be major consolidation, no doubt about it. We're seeing Etria, they were the first one got out there. Okay, Rico, Toshiba Tech, Oki. I think Canon probably joins into that. But we got Rizzo. Where are they going to go? Are they going to get with someone and help that someone with inkjet technology? Our friends at Kyocera, Sharp, Fujifilm, Xerox gobbled up Lexmark. We got Caton, the Caton. I mean, holy smokes, We got to have some consolidation in this manufacturing. I do believe Fujifilm played a big role in that. I think Kyocera played a big role in it as well. But Xerox, I'm thinking of you. And I'm thinking of a company called Konica Minolta. And I'm thinking that Konica Minolta, as weak as they are financially right now, and obviously all you got to do is look at their financials over the last 5 years, and you would agree they're pretty weak at this point. I think Xerox should make a play with Konica Minolta, and I've said this years ago, but maybe now's the time, Xerox, and Xerox is pretty bold. Maybe you pick up all the distribution that Konica Minolta does direct. You end up with all those Konica Minolta dealers, and you start changing the game a little bit. But something's got to happen, and I'm sure sooner or later we're going to see a line going through Konica Minolta. Come on, folks, it's just a matter of time. Wouldn't you agree? I mean, I just think it is. Something's going to happen because everybody watching me definitely knows this. Status quo is the killer of all. It'll be a minute. Don't get stuck there. Let's shake some things up, and I'll see all of you tomorrow.